Your reptile just made a sound, and you have no idea what it means. Was it happy, stressed, sick, or about to bite? Most reptile owners hear these sounds every single day and completely misread them. Some of those misreadings are harmless. Others can get you hurt or cost your animal its life. In the next 8 minutes, you will understand every sound your reptile makes and exactly what your animal is trying to tell you. Why reptiles make sounds at all. Let's start with something most people get completely wrong. Reptiles are not silent animals. That is a myth. The idea that reptiles do not communicate vocally is outdated science. Researchers have now documented that over 50 species of reptiles produce sounds intentionally, including species that were thought to be completely mute for decades. But here is what makes reptile sounds different from a dog barking or a cat meowing. Reptiles do not vocalize to bond with you. They do not make sounds out of boredom or to get attention. Every single sound a reptile makes is a direct response to its environment, its body, or a perceived threat. That means every sound carries real information. And once you learn to read that information, you become a completely different kind of owner, one that actually understands what is happening inside your animal's world. Let's go through the sounds one by one, starting with the most well-known, hissing. Almost every reptile species can hiss. Ball pythons do it, bearded dragons do it, blue-tongued skinks do it. Even tortoises hiss by rapidly expelling air from their lungs when they pull into their shell. The hiss is not aggression. This is the most important thing to understand. The hiss is fear. When your reptile hisses at you, it is not saying, "I want to hurt you." It is saying, "I am scared and I need you to back off right now." New owners who misread the hiss as aggression often respond by trying to dominate the animal or force handling. This makes everything worse. The correct response to a hiss is to slow down, give the animal space, and let it reset. If your reptile hisses at you every single time you approach, that is a sign your enclosure setup, your handling technique, or your husbandry has a problem that needs to be fixed. Grunting and growling. Grunting and low growling sounds are less common, but they are important. Monitor lizards and large skinks produce low guttural sounds that can sound almost mammalian. In most cases, these sounds signal a higher level of agitation than a hiss, and the animal has moved past fear and is now in a defensive state. This is the sound that comes right before a strike or a tail whip. Some tortoise species also produce grunting sounds during feeding, particularly when competing for food in multi-animal setups. In that context, the grunt is a resource guarding signal. It means back away from my food. The key thing to remember with grunting and growling is that the animal is telling you it has passed the warning stage. If you hear this sound, stop whatever you are doing immediately. Do not push through it. The animal has already given you a hiss. The growl means that warning is over. Clicking and chirping. Now here is where things get genuinely fascinating. Clicking and chirping sounds in reptiles tell us a lot about what an animal is experiencing. Crested geckos and leopard geckos are the most well-known chirpers in the reptile hobby. These small clicks and chirps are not random. Research shows that geckos use these sounds for several specific reasons. First, males chirp to establish territory and to attract females. If your male gecko chirps regularly, it is responding to something in its environment, often another gecko it can smell or hear, or its own reflection. Second, both males and females produce clicking sounds as a stress response. If you hear rapid, repeated clicking during handling, your gecko is telling you it is overstimulated and needs to go back to its enclosure. Third, some keepers report that geckos chirp when hungry, particularly at feeding time. This is a conditioned response. The animal has learned that making sound near feeding time produces food. That is a sign of a healthy cognitively engaged animal that has bonded with its routine. Wheezing and abnormal breathing sounds. This section could save your reptile's life. Pay close attention. Wheezing, bubbling, crackling, or any wet-sounding breath in a reptile is never normal. These sounds are a medical emergency. In ball pythons and other boas and pythons, a wheezing or clicking breath almost always indicates a respiratory infection. Respiratory infections in snakes progress fast. What starts as mild wheezing can become life-threatening pneumonia within days if untreated. In bearded dragons, open-mouth breathing combined with any abnormal sound is a sign of severe respiratory distress or metabolic bone disease affecting the jaw. This is a serious condition. In chameleons, any audible breathing at all is a red flag. Chameleons are extraordinarily sensitive animals, and audible breathing in a chameleon almost always means something is seriously wrong. Treat audible breathing in chameleons as an urgent problem. The rule is simple. If your reptile's breathing makes a sound you have not heard before, contact a reptile specialist vet within 24 hours. Do not wait to see if it gets better. Respiratory infections in reptiles do not resolve on their own. Silence as a signal. Here is something almost no one talks about. Silence can be a sound too. A reptile that has stopped making any sounds it previously made regularly is telling you something has changed. A gecko that used to chirp at feeding time and has gone silent may be stressed, sick, or experiencing a humidity problem that is affecting its biology. A bearded dragon that used to huff and puff during handling and suddenly becomes completely passive is not necessarily calmer. Sudden passivity in a previously reactive reptile can be a sign of illness. Healthy reptiles have consistent behavioral patterns. When those patterns change, that change is the signal. Learn your animal's normal, so you can recognize when normal disappears. If this video helped you understand your reptile better, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. We will see you in the next one.